the last GP of March here in Japan, and we have plenty of pictures to go over at the beautiful Suzuka. And there are some upgrades. It's definitely been hindered from Miami having this long break. And most teams will be waiting to bring their big significant packages that will make a big difference in the season towards the early part of May. But Japan usually brings us some updates, and there are quite a few critical updates that needed to be brought here to see where the team really stands. Make sure if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Lock in your predictions. I know some of you guys wait till practice to really get as much detail as possible, but go on Unchained Media Inc. Make your predictions and see if you can beat me for this week at Japan. Let's get started with the video. I first wanted to talk about a team that doesn't really get pictured too much, and I couldn't get a glimpse of the front wing, but Franco Colapinto has confirmed the team has brought some parts here in the rear and has worked on the front wing to correct the aerodynamic problem which has been understeer in the high-speed corner. So, I'm interested to see how Alpine can perform with these fixes. It's been their one real issue in the season so far. Now, we can start talking about the front wings. We have a beautifully pictured McLaren front wing here. Nothing has really been done or revised, but I do think this is a very nice shot that needed to be shown because of all of them, I do believe. This is one of the more developed front wings. And looking at all the small details on the end plate, that cutout, the way the dive plane has that slight slant, that a couple of teams have pretty much copied since then. And the way that they provide outwash from the bottom of the foot area, it's all very developed from McLaren's front end. Another team in the spotlight when it comes to the wing that they have at the front, it is Mercedes. And yes, they do have their special livery here. A lot of people are pretty conflicted on it. I think it looks pretty cool. But I made a whole video talking about what this front wing was doing, what are the benefits of it, and while I did predict this, it seems like it was an issue at hand during that Chinese GP, and it will not be repeated. So what they were doing was technically legal, and I kind of talked about this. There could be an argument somewhere that they were intentionally doing. They got caught and they were like, oh no, there just wasn't enough hydraulic pressure that was actually making this wing go up fast enough within that 4v10 mark rather than the 80-10 mark that it was doing. But regardless, we're not going to be seeing this slight advantage that they had before. It's not going to be seen here in Japan, and if it is, then it could go punished pretty badly. But as of right now, legal, same front wing per usual, still bolted onto that second flap rather than the end, and still the top team to look out for. Now, VCarb have done a couple of interesting things here at the front wing. Most of the time, they don't have that upper flap cut out, but they've decided to do that. As you can see with every single wing we've seen so far, the amount of downforce they have is significantly reduced in comparison to what it used to be on the previous cars, because they are generating so much downforce from the middle of the car. And plus, they want that drag reduction. That's super important for them. So, we're seeing cutouts even on tracks like Japan. Now, there's two versions of this wing. I don't believe this is completely new. They've been revising parts here and there. And another interesting thing to note from this picture is the front brake duct on the RB is significant in comparison to a couple of others. And I will mention another brake duct that did get upgraded for this race. Looking at the front of the Red Bull, there are upgrades on this car, but it is not pictured that much. I do believe if we were to get more side angles of this car, I'd be able to talk about it a lot more. They've also been updating their front wing. We saw two different versions in China, one on Isaac, the other on Max Verstappen, so expect to see them experimenting on that end. They've also worked on the reliability of the engine during this break. I don't know if they have any potential fixes, but it's been talked about. But from a front-end standpoint, they really have not changed much about the car. But they do say this is a pretty critical GP for them when it comes to the updates they have brought, and will they work to making this car better, and really a contender within the top four. The team in green, just like Red Bull, does not have too many pictures of the car. There are updates here, but this is a really critical GP for them. There are updates that we won't see but we can talk about. Supposedly what Honda has been talking about is the reliability has been fixed significantly for Japan. They don't believe it's some fix that's going to miraculously turn the car around. They still need the performance from a duo but reliability, they should be able to make it to the end of the race. I've seen so many interviews where they're still talking about the car vibrating like crazy. And that's something they can't even really get to the bottom of, because they don't know the solution for yet. They don't know where that exact problem is coming from. And I do think that's pretty frustrating, just hearing that, knowing this car is still going to be a complete mess when it gets out on track, and very little expectations. But if they can finish a GP, that would do a lot for them. Now, will Fernando come out with hands by the end of it? That's a question. We'll have to see, I guess. Still, this GP is important to see if the fixes that they've been working on actually work. Miami is supposed to be another one of those grounds where they bring performance and something to do with reliability. But it's been a mess so far in the beginning of the season. For Aston, maybe it'll get better. We did also get pictured this beautiful rear brake duct by McLaren. Now, if there are updates in these brake ducts, they are very hard to tell. But I just wanted to show how complex McLaren has been in the brake duct department. We talked about it last year, when it came to how good they were in tire degradation, and really warming them up, everything in general. But just look at the design here, it's incredible. Now, continuing on the front of brake ducts, some teams do them differently to others. Ferrari has updated their front brake duct. It's a little bit bigger here for Japan to bring a bit more cooling into those tires, as this is a tire destroyer track. It has been forever. It's still going to be even in these cars, if they take the S's differently to the previous set of regs. But a notable upgrade on the Ferrari, and I do consider these to be circuit specific. We're going to see this change a lot throughout the season. And I'm typically not going to cover it, but for this GP, with the little information that we have, I will talk about it with you guys. And there's also a great shot here of the halo, and as you can see, those halo winglets are off. Now, I've heard rumors that they could add some metal strikes, rather than the transparent ones that they had in China. Still yet to be seen. It could be seen by the time we end up getting to practice. There were also talks that those winglets weren't really doing much aerodynamically, so they ended up taking them off. There's rumors that some teams were kind of protesting against it. There's a lot going on that front. We don't know the full details as of yet, but we could possibly still see them. It's also important to note that so far on Thursday, the rotisserie wing was not pictured. It will be on the car. Will it stay for the whole weekend? That's a question. But as of right now, it's still their basic wing with the actuator in the middle of the car. But I do expect to see that rotisserie wing much more in the weekend, and it could possibly stay on for race day as well. That's going to do it for the most part here in Japan. As I said, Miami is going to be a big front for this, and expect that to be a much longer video. I'm hoping with all the pictures that we end up receiving, it's going to be a lot of updates to a lot of cars. Most teams still holding back and still a lot of stuff to be pictured. Expect a video from me either after practice sessions or after qualifying. I want to talk about that qualifying change, but also let's see what ends up happening in practice if it's worth talking about. So, make sure you're sticking around. Make your predictions on Unchained Media Inc. And thank you all for stopping by. Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world. And peace, thank you.